I'm sure most persons you've entered Mystic Man's office for the SMMA. Minimal stakeholder engagement and school outreach programs, little visibility of signage, and also minimal digital and social media advertising. So we have been working on this project, and we had a few school engagements, one at the Soufre Primary School, one at the Itangs, the Leseta Combine, and our rangers, the SMMA rangers, they also engage in some student activity during the summer. There was a camp where they went to the St. Isidore's Hall, and they showed us the children how the daily job of the ranger. So this was really well received. The chairman and also the assistant chief ranger, they were on the famous Zafenu show some time ago, and also a radio outreach on 88.5 with some university students that were being housed by the SMMA for a short period of time. Other programs that Mr. Dalser had been on, NTN, it could also be found on YouTube and on the government website. The signage has also been created, and if you pass next to the organization, you would see it. It's a double sign, a double hanging sign, so whichever side that you're coming from, you would be able to see the signage. The company in charge of the signage, they're currently working on marine reserve and fishing priority signs, and also he has designed a billboard which will be put up in the future. The final deliverable for this project is an infomercial, which is near completion. It will be aired for about 3 to 6 months on our local TV stations, and a final press release. Thank you very much. I now call on Mr. Butcher.
Thank you very much. My name is Peter Butcher, Chief Ranger. I've been working with the SMMA from inception, from 1995. So this is a picture, a zone picture of the SMA, which starts from all the way from Anjabon, go all the way down to all the way to Sivoin. So within that zone, we have different zones, which we have marine reserve. Marine reserve means no fishing. Marine reserve also means fish stock supposed to be triple in marine reserve and double in the adjacent areas. But we have in little difficulties where we have a lot of spare fishing going on, and people think we're targeting certain people, but we are not really targeting certain people. We're working on calls we are getting, and that's what we are here to do, you know? And anybody find fishing in a marine reserve, you could be fined $5,000 or more. So then we have fishing priority areas. Fishing priorities areas, fishermen take precedent over in a fishing priority area. For example, if you are within the Hummingbird area and there's a yacht anchoring right there and the fishermen want to fish, the ranger is supposed to go out there and remove this yacht immediately. So fishing priority area, we have, for example, we have Hummingbird, we have Margaret Tooth, we have Soufre Bay. Well, they say it's a port of entry. Between the two docks there, the fisherman is allowed there to fish. And Chasney Bay, Margaret Tooth. Also, we have recreation areas. For example, the beaches in Soufre, Margaret Tooth. We have the, as you could see on the zones, we have multiple use area. Multi-use areas, you could do your scuba diving, you could do snorkeling once the general use is being respected. For example, you are not allowed to take any corals, anything. If you're gonna do any surveys there, you have to get your papers from the Department of Fisheries. If you want to do any fish tagging, or if you're gonna be monitoring sedimentation. So we have the same too, we have the multi-use area. Everything could be done there. You do your fishing, your snorkeling, once the general use as I said, is being respected. So as a ranger, what we do on a daily basis, we manage conflicts. I'll say conflicts between divers, yachtsmen. We have divers cutting fishermen spot, which is not easy to detect. Sometimes if they are diving on the piton wall, they said there were sandals or lace paw on the scene, but you don't know because you're not under the water. So I don't know, probably what we could do in the future is to join the divers unexpectedly on the dive just to see what they are doing. So what we do also, we do more. So we do more installation. We assist other countries. For example, we have been to Kariakou, helping our neighbors, install moorings, showing them how to splice. We do exchange programs. I've been to Mexico, Miami, Puerto Rico, just name it. The SMMA is international, but I think we need to step up a little bit to take it from where we are. We won the 1997 British Airways Award, which is very good. So I think the SMMA is a good thing. I think the public also need to assist us, in certain ways. Yeah. So what we do on a daily basis also, we do a little bit of Sekidis, which is Sekidis when you check in the visibility of the water. You could stay from the top to see the clarity of the water. Probably you could see 60 feet down, 70 feet down. For example, these days you could see a lot of bleaching. The whole area is bleached out because, temperatures, it was about 91. Now it's about probably 86. You could see a little bit of the coral kind of coming back. Some of them will come back, but some of them probably won't make it. So what we do on a daily basis, we go around, we check fishermen, we check dive operators, we check everybody in the park. We do some spot check. We take some numbers. Okay? Any questions for me? At the end? Okay. So what we do also, as I said, we maintain moorings. People are asking for a little bit more moorings in the park. So I don't know if Mr. Dalson could get a little bit more finance somewhere, to assist us. Because right now you have more boats coming to the SMMA, Kama, because you have too many people sometimes in one area. When you have the cruise ship, you have, and Chasnays load up with people, Jalousie properly, we could divert people a little bit, maybe Hummingbird or Margaret Tooth, different areas. Thank you very much. If any questions at the ending, I would greatly come up to answer.
Thank you, Butcher. Butcher seems to be a natural speaker. Maybe you should run for office. Okay, guys, I really need to compliment you. The numbers here are quite impressive. I don't think there's been a meeting in Soufrière that where there's no Roro in the organization and so many persons have turned out. Okay, so it's a compliment to the staff for the efforts in mobilizing you, and it shows a keen interest, and we want to turn that interest into support for the SMMA, because the SMMA is really doing good work. It's a pity that it's unrecognized, so it's an unheralded child. So we hope today is a new era, an era of information sharing, so that you know that the work they're doing and you remember that institution as a stellar institution. SMMA, for that matter, has won a number of world awards for marine conservation, and so we really have an organization in our community that is world-class, and we walk past its doors without knowing that this is a world-class organization that's recognized by universities and marine organizations around the world. So give SMMA a round of applause, guys. Without the SMMA, the number of conflicts that would have continued to exist within that little marine space of ours would be really, really, really a lot more than it is. They're not perfect. They're trying their very best. There's a shortfall of resources, both human, capital, but I think they're doing a tremendous job. And so that effort tonight is no longer going to be unrecognized. So spread the word about SMMA and its achievements. Ms. Jonai spoke about some of the things that she had introduced to your organization. Let me encourage the staff. Money was spent on a consultancy, so if the systems have been changed to reflect the contemporary way of doing it, you all should follow it so that the systems remain in place and are modified as things change. But we cannot continue, you cannot continue to do things in the old way and think that is the way. The reason a consultant was brought on is to improve things, so run with the recommendations, and I'm sure you would be better off for having done so. Let me recognize the presence of the PMA manager. The PMA is a sister organization to the SMMA. There's so many other persons I would like to recognize, but it would not be fitting. But I think Mrs. Hippolyte, is she still there? Yes, as a sister organization, I think it's due, she's worthy of, her presence is worthy of being recognized. And I noticed there are lots of other people who've made the effort to be here. The Soufrière police chief, the director, Mr. Bob, any and everybody who's here is worth recognizing. Mr. Joseph, a director of the SMMA, so thank you for taking your time. Oh, and Ms. Charles, the president of the Fishers Association, and everybody else. Mr. Dalson is now going to address you. Mr. Dalson is the chairman of the SMMA, having held so many other positions within the community. I think that was the last position that he had not held. So he now holds that position so he can retire gracefully. We shall have to move so that he can get his award at the National Award ceremony, whether it's this year or next year, because I think he's done it all. So he's now sharing his expertise and his experience by providing leadership to the SMMA. And let's recognize the work that he's done. He's able to steady the ship during COVID, and he's continuing to hold the fort for the next year or two before the government decides somebody else is worthy of it. So, Mr. Dalso, let me call you to the mic to address the gathering on the initiatives of the SMMA.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander. Good night, everybody. ASP, I acknowledge you. Thanks for being here. Thank you very much. Director, thank you. The President of the Fishermen's Corp, thank you very much. I see Golly, good night to you. Happy to see you. Alman, good night to see you. Michael, I see you there. Good night to see you. And all of you, PMA, good night. This activity tonight is part of our outreach program. Because too many people, all they know is SMMA. They hate, they don't know what you're doing. Kisayo Cafe, what's going on inside there? And for too many years, people have their own perception. And so we have embarked on a number of occasions. I was on YADI, I was on GIS, I was in the schools, as you saw. And the aim is to communicate to the community because the SMMA belongs to the community. Why is it that there is an organization in the community and you know nothing about it for so many years? And that's what we are trying to address. 2, Ms. Jonai, when I came into the SMMA, now let me say something else. I am the president of the SMMA, and the position was bestowed upon me by the parliamentary rep. My predecessor was Mr. Ricky Alexander. So I assume office. I am not the manager. I am doing the managing of the operations of the SMMA for now. I am doing it not for the salary of a manager. My salary is the 3rd highest salary in the organization. In other words, there are officers who get more, the salary is higher than mine. I did it for 9 months for nothing, going there every day. Mr. Joseph is there and he can tell you. And because COVID killed the SMMA, when we started picking up, I said to the board, look, I have to dress every day, I have to put perfume on me, I have to bathe, I have to drive my car, give me something. See, they offered me $4,000 to do it. The salary of the manager is between $7,500 and $10,000. There are managers who have received $10,000. Mine is $4,000. After tax, it's $7,000. So those of us who are out there saying that's not the case. When I came in, the first thing I did is to look for money. And I don't know if Novi is there. There's a gentleman I went to. And I told him and I spoke to him. I went to all of the organizations owing us because there was no money to pay the staff. I acknowledge the presence of the district rep. Good night. Welcome, district rep. And we told them, look, the SMMA is broke, but you are owing us so much money. We prepared to write off a portion of the money, but give us something. So they gave us something, and we were able to pay the staff. They were working 3 days a week. And we brought them full swing. That was in about September. October, they everybody was working full time. December, everybody got a small, how you call it? Stipend, not stipend, a little bonus. Everybody got a little bonus by December in 3 months. And all that time I doing it for nothing. So, today, we are picking up. One of the things I did was to write a proposal. That took me months. Asking for assistance to help develop the capacity of the SMMA. After several meetings and several writings, we were able to get, clear how much money we got? 94 from GIZ. $66,000 we were able to get. Part of the request I made was what she described. You see, she described the situation, and it is not the fault of the staff. It is just a matter of you have an organization and you're running it like a tea boutique. So we put structures in place. We told them we want to look at all the documents we have there and put them properly in the catalog, file them properly, and so we look for consultants. The people who gave us the money said, you have to give us 3 bidders, 3 persons who tendered. I wrote to about 4. And some in Castaways asked for $75,000 to do it, when we got only $66,000. Another company asked for $58,000. And we got this lady from Soufre. I'm not going to tell you how much she did it for. She did it for us at an amount that was reasonable, and she did a damn good job, I must tell you. This is what she produced. In that document, it tells you every document we receive, what to do with it, where to place it. We receive emails every day. Where you place, how do we manage it? Because data documentation is essential for the survival of an organization. It's not something that is grand, but it is important for an organization, so we did it. We did it. Not that alone she did. She gave us this document here, which is how do we communicate with the community? How do we go out? And this meeting tonight, that's her meeting. That's not our meeting. It is part of her consultation, because her consultation required her as a deliverable to call town hall meetings. So before she can get the balance of her money, she had to do that. And there are other things she has to do, the infomercials that will come up. You see all the signs that we are putting up. She had to do that. And she did a damn good job with that. Very impressive with it. And there you are. We must never underestimate our people. She was not a consultant, and now we give her the opportunity, and she has proven herself to be top-notch and reasonable charges. Thank you very much, Ms. Jonai, for that. The other thing that the SMMA was lacking, the SMMA was a tea boutique, real tea boutique. There was no structure. So one of the projects I undertook, and we got the money from the agent from GIZ, was to prepare bylaws. How can you be an organization and you have no laws governing you? What? Jeff, right, Jeff. $30,000 for that paper in my hand there. To put together, how do you operate? Who are the board? What happens at the board meeting? How do you vote? All of these things must be documented. That is the lifeblood of the organization. This stays on my desk by me all the time, because I have to refer to it to see whether I am operating within the confines of what is mandated by to us. So we did it. A lady from Castaways did it for us. The board adopted it. It has been gazetted, so it is an official document. So this is what guides us. The other, you all take my documents? The other document I have in front of me is an audited statement. Organizations in Soufre, they have no accountability of the monies people invest in them for the people. Not me, not my style. At one time, I was in the foundation as chairman, and as soon as I came in, I did audited statements for 9 years. Go back and get them done. It was difficult, it was costly, but we had to do it. Mr. Bob could attest to that. Same thing here. There were audited statements before, but you know, COVID everything went lapse. So since COVID, we got, this is not the first one. This is since COVID, the second one, fourth one. So every year, we audit the books. We pay an auditor. This document in my hand costs $7,333 to the auditors to get it. What does it have? What does it say? It says that the SMMA made a loss of $202,000. 223. She knows it by heart. The accountant put their hands together for doing a fantastic job. Let me tell you something about this lady. This lady is not the accountant, but she's doing the work of an accountant for the same salary as an accounts officer. Every time I try to talk to her to tell her, you need to get something, Mr. Dalton, it's okay, we're not doing well. So we really appreciate that. That is people who are committed. And she's doing it all the time. Every single thing she does it. One thing I can tell you, she had with the money. She had with the money. So that's what we made. But what caused the loss? You see, at the same time, our bank account balance is showing we have $202,000. 2022. The 2023 is being done right now. We start already. The loss that it is showing is because of people who were owing us over the years. From 2009, over $400,000 people owing. What did we do? We told some of these companies they are no longer in existence. Some of them will not pay. Some of them, the invoices they can find again. So what did we do? We wrote them off as something you call bad debts. And bad debts is an expense. You have to match bad debts against the money you receive. So we wrote off $145,000 in one instance, and I can't remember the other figure. Over $200,000 in bad debts. What are bad debts? People that owe you, they will not pay you, you will never recover that money. So you have to write it off from the books. And it appears as an expense in your organization. So when you match that against the revenue, it is showing us we are making a loss. And that will continue because then we have more debts out. And some of these people will not pay. And in a while, I will talk to you about why we are having all of those debts. You need to understand that. So this is the financial statement. We take it to the board endorses it, we send it to the minister, takes it to parliament, wherever, and it becomes official. We send it to the registrar of companies. The other thing that was not happened, none of the board members was registered as a board member. And the law says you have to be registered to be a member of a board. So we registered everybody. There was an incident. You will say, I'm going to be honest with you. There was an incident at the SMMA where a certain amount of money, about $15,000, disappeared. Why did it disappear? These are the reasons. One, Mr. Marius Felix, and Ms. Emmanuel were the signatories to the account. So every time we receive money, we send it to the bank, and we make all our payments by check or through direct transfer. Mr. Felix got sick, and he couldn't sign checks. But the monies were still going to the bank. But we cannot write checks, nobody to sign. The question is, how do we pay? One morning, Cleo called me and said, Lucilla came to disconnect us. Why? Because we cannot pay. We have the money, we have the checks, but the checks cannot sign. So what did we do? I told them, look, the money you collect from the yachts, keep it in the safe, in the SMMA, so that when Lucille comes, when Wasco has to be paid, when we have to pay for different utilities, we will have cash to pay from so that we do not experience the situation of a disconnection anymore. And that was what was being done. But it was a mistake. The money was hidden somewhere where only one person could get it, and it has to be somebody from inside, one of us. I'm not removing anybody. One of us took it. The police came, they investigated, they saw it was an inside job, and they just abandoned it. Sad. That's not the first time it has happened, but it's not going to happen again. It's not going to happen again. Because we have cameras on everybody's head. When the rangers come from the sea with money, at night, we have a paid security They put the money in the bag, and the security for gun goes to the bank, and they put the bag in the thing. So no money goes there, except during the day if they collect money during the day. That's what we have done. And I called a meeting, and I told them exactly what I'm saying to you. One of us took it. Nobody else. Unfortunate. But life must go on. Life must go on. There are companies losing more than that in a day. That doesn't justify what happened, but it did happen. I have no idea as to who did it. I just don't know, but it is one of us who took it. I can say that boldly. But we are moving on. We are trotting. Last year wasn't a bad year. We did well between November, December, January, February, March. At the end of March, everything died down. Everything died down. But the accountant again, smart enough, built a reserve so that when we were getting nothing, we could pay staff their salaries. We were able to pay staff an increase in salary plus their back pay. And it is because of prudent management of the organization these things are happening. This is not happening by chance. There must be a coordination of efforts so that what you want to achieve in the organization will be achieved. Those who know me as a politician, some people tell me, "Garçon, really couillon, qui m'a n'y pas fait quoi you?" And I keep asking them, "Qui m'a n'y pas fait quoi?" How are you doing it? I don't know how to do it. And I'm one who hates corruption with a passion. I hate it. So these are some of the projects we have undertaken. Water quality management. Together with Sonia, that's Sonia there? No. Sonia, oh, she's online. Sonia, good night wherever you are. We worked with Sonia Kazobon, looking at the water quality in Soufrière. And she did analysis. She took samples and sent it to CAFA for analysis. And let me tell you something. You see the water in Soufrière, the Soufrière Bay? I'm not telling you don't live there. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying to you is that if you go there, go at your own risk. Because the water is highly polluted. If you want to bathe, look at the water. If it is murky, it's milky, it's dirty, you can see the bottom, you have your children, withdraw, hold on and say, we're just staying on the beach, we're not going in the water. Because there are many persons who have gone to the hospital, Dr. Yanni, good night. I just saw him, good night. Who come with, people have come to me and they said they went to bathe in the sea and they got eye infection. I don't know, I'm not a doctor. They got air infection. I don't know, they got other infection in the water. But what we can tell you based on the analysis that we have, and Sonia had a presentation at the St. Isidore's Hall, that night it rained and there were not too many people. I acknowledge the presence of Ms. Emmanuel, good night, former accountant of the SMMA. Thank you very much for coming. And so this is what we did with respect to water quality. So we have the reports. And the water quality, I'm telling you, before you bathe, look at the water before you drop into it. The other project we did was fish restocking. This is not in Soufrière. This is in Library. This was done by Coatfish, the Japanese. You see what they've done? They built a net. This is for what you call fish restocking. Because the depletion of the fish stock is going rapidly. When you have overfishing and you are not replenishing the stock, at one time there'll be no fish to catch. And part of our mission that you don't know about is that we too engage in that same kind of activity. And she will show you the next slide. Oh, okay. I was talking about fish restocking. So that is what the Japanese did. And we did the same thing in Soufrière. We're not going to tell you where they are, but we're going to show you. Oh, we have to get a laptop. I really need to show you. I'll move on and then. Okay, I will continue and I will show it to you. Because what we did a similar thing. I met a gentleman who bought a property on the Anchaste Road to build a small hotel. I took him out to see the place by land. And you know, I'm a good beggar. So I begged him. He gave us $1,000 US. We took the $1,000 US and we built a cage like that. We used PVC pipe. Butcher and Kajaki and them, they went to library, they bought conch shell. We put blocks. And then we enclose it. And then we drop it in the sea somewhere. In a while, we will show you what has happened to it. And we're doing that over and over again once we get the money. I want to thank Mr. Gustav. Mr. Gustav met, how you call them? You know, clap it, you know for what? Mr. Gustav met the GPH, the company that is going to do the port. At a meeting at the school, Mr. Gustav stood and said, what's the name? Mr. Matthew, would it be possible for your company to give the SMMA a donation so that the donation can help the SMMA do its work? He said yes, and he gave us 4,000 something. It came to about how much, Cleo? $12,000 EC. What will it do with it? We have jacks. How you call the thing you always in the water? Jackhammer. The hose was not good, so they couldn't use it to do moorings because you have to go down there and jack the seabed to put the anchors, and we give it, and that's what we use the money for. And they are installing moorings from last week. They're going to start installing more moorings. And so, right, this is part of the, just shift it a bit forward, just a little bit. So this is the device. Now stop, go on. You see the lionfish that's killing out everything else? That's the lionfish. Now look at that. You see all these little things you were seeing there? These are lobsters. These are young lobsters, juvenile lobsters. So if you keep going, just move a bit. This is the same device. Look at lobster. Okay, just move forward. Keep going. Can you see the juvenile fish? These are the young fish that later or sooner will spawn and move out of this area into the area where the fishermen can catch them. And the whole video is just about seeing a restocking of fish. This is what Butcher and them do this is what they do. A very risky job. You don't know we're doing that. You don't know that. But this is what we do. So the fishermen are bitter. We had a good meeting a while ago with the fishermen over the restocking. And I said to them, look, the SMMA and the fishermen must work together because we are in your interest. This is what is going to help you catch fish. Because if every fisherman has to go out there every day and catch fish every day, after a while, so if you do not have these interventions, you are not going to get fish to eat. So we are helping them. The meeting today was the demarcation Butcher showed you earlier. And the fishermen, they have a lot because people are going in their nets and cutting the pots. Divers. And I write to them and I complain to them, to the organizations, and they're still doing it. Their own livelihood is at stake. Because if a fisherman goes out to feed his family and he has a pot in the water and somebody goes and cuts it and loose and lets the fish go, what happens to the fisherman? But what do we do? If it's a bad law, no any evidence. Hey, officer, you must have evidence. They move. You don't know who. Is it Sandals? Is it Anshasney? Who did it? And that is the problem we face. That is the problem. Spearfishing. It is illegal to use a spearfish in the waters of St. Lucia. A spear gun in the water. The law is there. And I have it here. It's there, it's written. I don't want to spend time reading it to you. In order for you to use a spear gun anywhere in St. Lucia, you must have a license given by the chief fisheries officer. If you want to spearfish, go to Rita. Where's Rita? Good night, Rita. Where is she? I saw her pass there. Go to her, and then she will advise you how to go about it. Why do you need a license? Because of the risk involved. You cannot go in one of these things that we just install and go and shoot. You cannot go in a dive area and begin to shoot, and there are people diving, people snorkeling. It's either we have a country with laws, or we become a country of outlaws. And that is why it's so important. We are catching, the guys are ridiculing the rangers. I was on the boat one day. They are one parent said, "Ino chop me down at a meeting." Because his son is involved in spearfishing. They went by Butcher's home, threatened to burn his house down. for trying to do the right thing for tourism, for St. Lucia, for employment. And these are the challenges that we face. So we are saying to all those persons who have speck, we're not saying you cannot do speck on fishing. What we are saying is go and get the license, because when they get the license, they will tell you, don't go there, don't go there, don't go over there, you can go there. And what kind of spec gun you have to use, when you have to use it, they will tell you that. Simple. Simple. Right now, you know what's happening? There are dive operators who are actually selling to us, and they're including spec gun fishing in it. They are including as part of the package to have spec gun. And the fisher and those divers, they are going in areas where you have 200, 300 people bathing, 150, 40 people, divers, everybody, and people just shooting. 2 weeks ago, a couple, I can't remember from which state, came down to St. Lucia and they died because of a jet ski. Just got married. And when we tell them you cannot jet ski in the port of Soufrière, because Soufrière is a port of entry, some people don't want to understand that. We have to run the country based on the laws of the country. Commercial ships come there, tourist boats come there. Because of, since 9/11, remember 9/11? When they blew up the ship. A guy can just load a jet ski with ammunition and bombs and just go next to a cruise ship and blow it up. The other thing is, if a cruise ship in St. Lucia, and we do not have regulations on that, the boat cannot go to an export. They will not go to an export, so we have to manage it. And if we are given the authority to do it, we're going to do it. Coral enhancement. Well, that's one of the things that we do. There is a group in Soufrière called Coral Restorers. It's a group of young women. I think there are, how many? One young girl and a group of young men from the Barons Drive area. And they have been trained. They are certified. One of the girls told me she is a master, a dive master. What they do, they go out there and go back one bit. That lady over there from Barons Drive. Don't know much about her. She's a dive master. She's what? Chinella, that's her name. Right. What do? There's a group of them, they go out there and they plant coral. How do we plant coral? The next slide will show you what they do. Oh, okay, let's go back a bit. You see what Butcher was talking about? That's coral, bleaching. That's how the coral gets destroyed. You see this other one there? That was a coral garden. It just died. What caused it to die? Pollution, temperature, and probably anything else. See how they bleach? Overfishing in the reef. That's what causes the coral to deteriorate. So how do we do that over? How do we counteract it? You see this here? That's what you see this, what you see there? That's PVC pipe. They tie small branches of coral and they leave it there, and then it will eventually grow. When it's big enough, they take it, they transfer it to a rock, and then the coral grows, it replenishes, and then the fish come and they restock and everything happens. There are people going out there. We have not been involved in it too much. It's the coral restorers, and Mr. Ariste is also doing a fantastic job. Mr. Alexander, Mr. Chester's brother, doing a fantastic job in coral restoration. These are people in Soufrière we need to know about. Because they are doing things innocuously. We don't know, we don't see, but a lot is being done to enhance the tourism product. So we're not allowing the coral to die. We are interested in enhancing the coral, the Anchasley demarcation. Serious thing, a while ago I had to explain it down there. Anchasley has a problem, not only Anchasley, most of the beaches, Anscochon, everywhere there's a problem. What happens is, on the cruise ship, when they have 2 cruise ships, 3 cruise ships in Castries, you have 300-400 people at Anchasley Bay, or at Tikai, and they are bathing, and everybody is bathing in the water. But what happens? You have the guys with the speedboats, they come with a rapid speed. And the people snorkeling. I went there for myself and I sat in the restaurant watching. And there was a near miss where as a guy emerged from the water, a boat was just coming. So how do we manage that? For 25 years, Anchasley has been clamoring for that. Anchasley, we have a letter from Anchasley indemnifying themselves against any liability if anything happens to the person in the bay, because they say we are negligent. So what do we have to do? We had meetings with the fishermen. The fishermen got vexed. I got vexed. But at the end of the day, there is a solution in sight. We are going, and I want to thank the honorable member here tonight for her efforts in getting that problem resolved. She appointed a small committee to get it done, and it is being done, Madam Minister. It is being done. The tourism department just ordered the swim line. What we are doing, we are putting a swim line 40 feet from the shore, and people will bathe in the swim line, and nothing can go in the swim line except the fishermen, because it's a fishing priority area. There will be clips. There will be clips. They will open the clip if they have a catch, open the clips, and go in so that they can take the catch. That is going to be done, hopefully by the end of the year. That is going to be done by the, and these are the kinds of things that we do. Butcher spoke about conflicts. Every day we manage in conflicts. Every single day. Fishermen against divers, divers against snorkelers, boat boys against this, taxi against. And the audit. Well, I spoke about the audit already, the bylaws. What is happening, and once again I want to thank the honorable member here for assisting us. We had a problem. As you saw, as you heard me from the audited statements, we had a problem in collecting our monies. People want to come to the port, go through the marine reserve, and they do not pay. The reason why they were not paying is because we could do nothing. There was nothing that we could do because there was no law to force them to pay. So they were coming. Let me tell you something. Captain Lolo, good night. Captain Lolo was in the Grenadines, not in the Tobago Coast, Tobago Keys. And he will tell you how much he paid. How much he paid just to go by the Marine Reserve. How much it was? How much? $150 EC. You know how much we charge in the port, people? $1 US. $1 US, and they refuse to pay it. There are people there who owe $60,000, $70,000. That is why the bad debts in the statement is so high. $150. When I approached them, I made a deal with them, give us something. Those who owed 60, they gave us 12. And I must make public mention of Nerve, JJ. And if you all are listening, Nerve, I want to thank you very much. Why? Because when I went to Nerve and I spoke with him and his wife, he understood. And Nerve gave us a check. And that check I used to pay the staff after COVID. And since then, Nerve has never defaulted. He pays all the time and on time. He calls to say, what's my invoice? But there are the big operators, $1 US. Some of them collecting the $1 US and they're keeping it. Now, what we propose to do is to amend it and increase it to $2 US. But we have to give them notice, at least a year's notice. And that is in the legislation that the member caused to happen in the Parliament of St. Lucia. So right now, we are doing the bylaws, the regulations. And in the regulations, there are a number of things that we are trying to address. It's long, but we need to discuss it. What's been here? The zones. Marine zones. The Marine Management Authority, that's the SMMA, may, on consultation with the Minister, as Minister of Agriculture, specify a demarcated area within the Marine Reserve. And they are looking at a multiple use area where several things, like behind the cemetery, you can have a yacht there, people can bathe, it's a fishing, so multiple use. They're recommending a traffic lane so that the boats coming from Castries, they will be able to navigate through defined boundaries as they come down, so they do not go into the protected marine areas. Then the marine areas, that's where we put the yachts, where we tie the yachts and the things we put in the water and keep them there. They're also recommending in that I wrote to them and I told the drafter, look, we need to have what you call a conservation zone. And the conservation zone is an area where almost nothing happens. That is only for what you saw there, coral restoration, fish restocking. Because what you have to understand, if you allow too many people in the water, and everybody put suntan, and mosquito tan on their skin, and they all go in the water, the residue is pollution. So we want nothing like that to happen in that area. So I will just go through the most important ones. Mooring permit. The captain of a boat or a vessel shall issued mooring permit by the Marine Management Authority prior to mooring a boat or vessel within the marine reserve. That is a recommendation. It's not in law yet. Then a mooring permit shall be issued to the payment of a fee as specified in the, so that if you want to moor means to tie your boat to an anchor, the white things you see on the water. If you want to do that, what it is saying is that you need to have a permit. That's what it is saying. Now we have an issue with moorings. Because I see too many illegal moorings just coming up. If you pass by the waterfront and go into Barron's Drive, the whole place is littered with moorings. Now, we are not against, that's for the fishermen, we're not against them. They can do it. But let us do it properly. Let us do it like Captain Lolo. Captain Lolo wanted moorings. What did he do? He wrote to Slasper. Slasper wrote to us. We endorsed his application and they gave him authorization. So he took 2 big blocks, he put them under the water, and he put his moorings, and he's supposed to pay us $250 every month. We are not going to go against, if you want to put, the question is, with DPH coming on board, if they have to do something on the seabed, how do they know where they have blocks? How do they know? Because we have to keep GPS location, which we are about to do, of all of the moorings and all the blocks where they are. Because you don't want a boat to come, a cruise ship, drops an anchor, and the anchor gets stuck in a big block. We need to know where they are. As I said, either we have a country of laws or we have a country of outlaws. As far as I'm concerned, we need to comply. And I'm appealing to the water taxi, the fishermen who are doing it. Just please come and sit down and talk to us. We will tell you what to do. We will show you. Butcher went with Captain Lolo and showed him where to put it. So let us do it that way. That's my appeal. That's my appeal. The captain of a boat or vessel shall take all necessary precautions to prevent damage to the seabed and the marine flora and fauna. These are the trees and whatever else. They have a captain of a boat. That's your responsibility. Yeah, and if you don't do it, you'll be charged $5,000. I'll move on. Kayaking. It is just surfacing. We have a number. There's a guy operating the kayaking thing. We're not against kayaking. We're not against it. It's a man making money, making some business. It's a diversification of the product, the tourism product. But what we are saying, you cannot just go and set up a business in the SMMA without the SMMA knowing what you're doing. We're not against it. Just sit down, talk to us, tell us, look, I want to start a business. We will tell you where you can go, how many people you can carry there, what time you. We just need to talk to us. Don't believe as though the marine resource is yours when there is a legal authority managing it. That can't be right. That cannot be right. So we're not against kayaking. We're for it. But let us do it responsibly. Let us get the SMMA involved in what you are doing. Imposition of fees. And this is the most important. I think that's the last one. The management authority shall impose and collect fees from a person participating in a regulated activity. That gives us the authority. In that new legislation, it now gives us the authority we don't have to collect the fees. A regulated activity, mooring, snorkeling, diving. We don't charge fishermen. Fishermen supposed to be. What I want to propose at some time is to tell the fishermen, if tourism activities take place in the fishing priority area, you should be able to get a share of what we collect to help them. Because, as I said at another meeting, every time a visitor arrives in Vieux Fort at the airport, we are dislocating one fisherman or a bunch of fishermen, because invariably they are going to end up on the water. And every time they get on the water, you are pushing the fishermen on the side. So how do we protect the fishermen? How do we give them something for a pension? How do we give them something for a gratuity? These are the mechanisms that we have to begin to think of. But the fishermen must be prepared to talk. Let us not make noise. Let us sit down and talk. No, noise don't get you anywhere. Let's talk. And then we have the fee structure. There was a section I wanted to show about if they don't pay. Okay. A person shall not, without reasonable cause, fail to pay a fee under these bylaws. You see, we are charging $1 just because you come down to Sufra, you know. Captain Lolo told you he paid $150 in the Tobago Keys. So you see? You heard that? In Roatan, in Honduras, the same thing applies. In Roatan, they tell you that if you have to go and shoot lionfish, you got to get a lionfish license. And you pay the Marine Authority. If you want to do a wedding underwater, you pay the Marine Authority. If you have to take pictures underwater you pay a fee. That is how they survive. That money goes back to the community. We are helping the community, but you don't know. We are helping schools. We are helping communities. We are helping many organizations. As we begin just to show a little something above the water, we are giving not much, a little $200, a little $300. They were armed, yes. Yeah. So you can take a chance with them. So this legislation that we have there are some issues with it. The Department of Fisheries will iron them out. I have made recommendations. And I'm telling you what the recommendations are based on just what I'm... But there's a section, a final section I want to read to you. The very last page. Because my last spelling. It says, the Marine Authority can, yes, we can, they want the exemption. If you want an exemption from paying the fees, sit down and talk to the SMMA, justify it, and we can give you an exemption. That's how much latitude we give. If we have to increase the rates, I am suggesting we give you 1 year notice to tell you the rates will come from, and we have the rates there. It will come from $1 to you. We give it to you so that when you begin to prepare next year's packages, you include $1 additional to give it to us. We are saying to you, stop being corrupt. Stop collecting money from visitors on your ship, on the catamaran, and keep it, and do not give it to the SMMA. I hope somebody is listening. That can work. A person shall not, without reasonable cause, fail to pay a fee payable under these bylaws. And listen to that. A person who contravenes these bylaws commits an offense and is liable to a summary conviction in the fine not exceeding $5,000. That gives us the tip. So all the bad debts we have will come out. Because we can now go to a lawyer and say, look, we have bylaws. And I said, it was the parliamentary rep who took the initiative. I spoke with her. She's on the board, actually. She sits on the board. And she knows the problems. And she caused that to happen. It is still work in progress. It is not. This is the second draft. And then it will go on. We will have more consultation. And so, as I end, I never anticipated there would be so many people tonight. And I want to commend the staff. I have a very good staff. The job is risky. To go and dive at butcher's age And he's not qualified to go more than, how many? 130. And you know the depth of the sulfur water. And I'm just trying to get an agency to help me to make them dive masters. I was speaking with Sugar Beach. That didn't come through. I spoke with Anchasne. I have to follow up with them. And then recently, I spoke with the accountant and I asked her, can we finance it? Can we do it on our own? Can we train them? Because it's a risky job. They have a tank on their back. And they go down 140, 150 when they're supposed to go only 130. Or some of them 60. But they're doing it. But you don't know that they are doing it. And so every fisherman hates them because they're doing their job. That can work. I appealed to the fishermen a while ago, let us work together. The rangers are not against you. We don't want people to cut your nets. We don't want to displace you. We don't want you not to be able to make a living or livelihood. We are doing things to support you. So work with us. Work with us. The Spegon boys, the young boys, we are saying to you it is illegal. We are saying to you we will call the Marine Police and you will get arrested and charged. Well, it's not right. And so, thank you for coming. I'm very happy I saw across the political spectrum representatives there. Organizations represented today. And I'm certainly sure, as you leave here tonight, you will leave here with a better understanding of what the SMMA is all about, because that was the objective of that meeting. So once again, all those of you who have contributed, Michael, Captain, who work with us, Blackie, Blackie is a supporter. Yes, the little words of kindness, the little words of encouragement, that helps us. So we want to thank all of you for being here. Cleo will do a better job than me at thanking people. And it was a pleasure. Now, we're going to answer questions. That's correct.
Thank you, Mr. Dalso, for your impassioned but thought-provoking and informative presentation. I'm sure that you think that it's worth your time having come here, because remember, I promised you that this session was going to be very informative. After more than 10 years of not having had a public forum like this, the SMMA has placed its record in front of you for you to critique, comment, make suggestions on. I like to recognize the presence of the district representative, our mayor, Mr. Didier, and the representative from the Ministry of Fisheries, Rita Harrison. Is Rita still with us? I think it's worth recognizing her presence. Captain Lolo will get to you. The question and answer session will begin in a while. I'd like to ask the district rep she didn't know she was going to be asked to speak, but whenever a district rep or parliamentarian walks into, no, she should be allowed to speak before the person, Mr. Dalso. So it makes more sense. So I will allow the district rep to deliver a few words, okay, to the gathering. DR?
Good evening, everyone. I recognize the head table. I want to thank Mr. Dalson, the management of SMMA, and the technical team, consultants who have put this together. I just want to remind everyone, first let me also thank you for turning out. Give yourself a round of applause. I remember very clearly when I approached you before the campaign, I said that it was together that we would transform Soufrière for Sheshak. And I have kept this theme throughout. You decided that you're going to elect me as a parliamentary rep. And since then, one of the things that you could see that is different is having discussions such as this. We started with the SRDF, having several of these sessions. And the objective is to bring us to a SUFRE 2040. Just this morning, again, I met with Mr. Auger and the consultant to wrap up that exercise. And I'm very pleased that today we are here focusing and discussing with you what is happening at the SMMA. You've heard the background, so I'm not going to go into the background anymore, but only to tell you that it is my wish that you influence where SUFRE goes. That is why we're having these discussions. Prior to this discussion, Mr. Dalson will tell you, we've met with management of Anchasne. That was a big challenge for us with the fisheries, the fishermen, at least on 2 occasions. And I'm very pleased that we were able at the second meeting to arrive at some solution to the demarcation in the Anchasne Bay, and now is the implementation. The issue of legislation is one that was important for us for the SMMA, because you could not have, the SMMA, I must tell you, is a very unique institution. It is an institution that has been studied by other international bodies and other forms, other constituents in St. Lucia itself are trying to have something similar. And what it is to have a mechanism where we have rules and regulations in place so that all the users are well served, so that you minimize conflict. In essence, that's what it is. And at the same time, it is important because it is helping us manage our environments. And as you know, for SUFRE, the environment, whether you like it or not, is that environment, that rich environment that the Lord has blessed us with. That is what the economy of St. Lucia is based on, tourism. So when I sit in my cabinet, I always tell my cabinet members, I'm holding the trump card. SUFRE is the tourism capital. And everything we try to do now is to develop it in manner. We had concerns with what was happening in the Bay as it relates to the harassment of yachts. Again, we had consultation. All of it is consultation. Now, we can have all this consultation, but we must ensure that whatever we are doing, that it impacts the lives and livelihoods of the people. Because we can do all of that, and if the fishermen are not getting something in return, if we cannot tell them, if we cannot give hope to the unemployed boys and girls at Barron's Drive, then it makes no sense. Hence, you will see we are doing different things. We've tried to engage some of the unemployed young men and women. We've put a committee together, Project Hope, chaired by Mr. Michael Gustav, who's there with us, and other business persons. We have put the Vendors Association together with SRDF and the Foshajak Credit Union. We've just trained some 21 young men in terms of giving them a boat captain certificate. All the things that we're doing is to try to improve the livelihoods of the people that we serve. That is why you elected me, not to put the money in my pocket. You've elected me so that I can put programs in place to make your lives better. And one of the things we're doing, whatever you're doing there, just think of it in that way. The decisions that we take, the suggestions that you're going to have, whether you give it tonight or you send it over to Mr. Dalson later on, always think of that. The decisions that we are making is for us to improve the livelihoods of everybody else. That is what that is all about. We also want to improve the quality of life. Mr. Dalson has spoke about the quality of our water. It's a major concern to us. And we'll be coming back to you. I know there was some consultation in Sonia, but we need to come back to you as to how you can contribute. How all the people in Palmis, they need to understand what they're doing up there and how it impacts the water quality. The people in Fontchenglac upstream must understand. The people in Barron's Drive must understand that when they tie pigs next to the water and when they defecate in the water, how that affects the quality of the water and how down the road it impacts our quality of life. So with these viewers, I want again to thank you for being here. I want to thank the SMMA, Mr. Dalso, and the SMMA for the work that they're doing, and I want to thank people, the board of SRDF, and all the persons who are making a contribution to develop brand Soufre. We have a very important brand. I'm not certain, there's certain work that we did. We had some consultation on the PMA, which is another important area for us. And we have to work together to ensure that you, the people of Soufre, understand the treasure that you hold and to participate in protecting it. That is why we have now called on you to be part of Foodmen Soufrier, to have the spirit of understanding that we have to keep our environment clean and that we'll make a contribution towards that. With these viewers, I want to thank you again for your support, for your patience. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam DR, for accepting our last-minute request to address the gathering. And thank you more so for your support for the SMMA, the work of the SMMA and the management and board of directors. The next agenda item is the item I think all of you must be looking forward to. That's before the snack starters. The question and answer session. So I'm going to throw it out to you. Captain Olo, you'll start the ball rolling. You're free to ask questions, make suggestions, raise grievances, compliment, whatever you think is necessary. But we want you to air your concerns in public. So Mr. Dalso has been very sheltered, and the staff have been sheltered. So right now we're putting them in the hot seat. So you are free to ask all the questions you may want to ask to get the kinds of information you want to get. Say that again? Okay, you'll need to stand and we'll make a mic available to you. Where's the second mic? It's already at the back? Okay, so
yes,
Captain Olo,
1, 2.
Yeah.
Okay, my question tonight is, you said the Soufre is a port of entry. And I experienced an incident that happened in Soufre. I come in from Martinique with a couple jet skis. Then I have to come to Soufre to clear the jet, to clear customs and immigration. Okay, so if it's a port of entry. And then you said I cannot come to Soufre with jet skis. So how do I clear my jet skis? I think you should organize a corridor so that jet skis can come to Soufre, or passage to say, okay, that's where you have to pass to come to Soufre to clear your custom. The other thing is, I'm living in Soufre, I have a jet ski. Where you want me to go with the jet ski? Helicopter bring it to Castries to put it in the water, and I'm from Soufre. You have to organize a corridor for me to get out of Soufre and go and ride my jet ski elsewhere. You know, so that's one question. Who's going to answer that question?
Yes, I will answer the question. The question I have to ask you, what do you prefer? The survival of Soufre or jet ski? Which one do you prefer? A jet ski just killed a man in Castries a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
That's not the answer to the question.
Okay, listen, but Slasper is giving license for jet skis.
Right.
So
That's what I was saying.
Slasper, not me.
So what I'm saying is that question should not be addressed to us, because that doesn't reside within our jurisdiction. That's solely for Slasper. After 9/11, Slasper declared that certain vessels, based on ISPS codes, in certain ports, Vieux-Fort, Soufre, Castries, certain activities must not take place. So if you know that you are not supposed to operate a jet ski in the waters of Soufre, and you go and buy one, that's your business.
How do I know?
It's there, it's in the law. It's the law.
How do I know?
It's the law.
I'm coming from Martinique. I don't know the law here.
No, when you're coming from, you have to find out. Because a St. Lucian will not go to Martinique with a jet which is restricted. You will not go to St. Vincent and do it.
No,
so why do it in Soufre?
The thing we will do, if we come from St. Lucia with a jet ski, we will go to a port of entry to do our paperwork.
So if you go to a port of entry and you do your paperwork and they authorize you to come to Soufre, somebody must be fired.
Okay, thank you very much.
Somebody must be fired. And when that incident happened this Sunday, I made several calls. I called the director of Maritime and asked him to explain the law. Michael Gust was there. And you were there also, and you heard what he said, that it is illegal. That's the law. I didn't put it there. Our responsibility when it happens is to inform them that I saw 9 jet skis in the waters of Soufrière, and when a local guy wants to buy a jet ski, we're telling him no, but yet still 9 coming from Matnik and coming all the way by the jetty, and the local person cannot operate one. That's not fair.
And nobody take heed of that. And the other thing, I saw over 40-something persons. They pay dog fee, they pay taxi to the waterfall, they paid entrance fee to the waterfall. They bring in some income. You understand? They brought in some income in the island.
So what is better for you? The fact that...
It's not me, it's
okay,
the law.
Okay, what is better for us? That a cruise ship cannot come to Soufrière because we are lax on the ISPS code? Do we prefer that? Or that even a commercial ship will not come to Soufrière because we are abandoning the ISPS? We agreed to an international organization. We agreed that we are going to manage the port so it can remain as a port of entry. We agreed to the protocol, an international protocol. So we cannot lax on it to facilitate 1 or 2 or 3 persons. As I said, either we are a country of laws or we are a country of outlaws. I prefer to stay on the side of the law.
Thank you, brother. So I think we should follow the laws.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have another question.
Sure,
so
go ahead.
Maybe that will refer to maybe SLASPA. So let's leave that alone, okay?
Yes,
Thank you very much.
Our authority over what we manage is limited.
Yes.
We have crown lands. Anything on the seabed, crown lands. If you're going to put moorings on the seabed, you have to planning, Ministry of Planning, Fisheries Department, SLASPA. All of these are organizations with jurisdiction over the marine reserve. And anything that must be done, depending on what, one of them must be involved and give the authorization. That's all I can tell you. Sister Emma wants to say something.
I was just trying to comment on the issue that was raised by Captain Lolo. And one of the things we'd want to do is to document all the questions and try to come back. If that's an issue, then we have to sit with SLASPA to get a solution for it. And also, the communication with the yachts in Matnik is critical. So we need to put some things together so that we regularly communicate with them as to what is right and what is wrong, what is allowed and not allowed. So that is why I want this documented so that we take it as action.
Good suggestion. Very good. So we have to document the question that you asked. Very good question so that we can address the issue. Ask.
They are not coming to St. Lucia because they say they have to call in and make reservations first, so they're going straight to the Grenadines and straight back up to Matnik.
Yeah, that's a complaint we have investigated. I actually went to the immigration department to find out what was going on. I have not met the gentleman. I called somebody from Cassius. The person told me that he is not aware of that imposition. I don't know if it is true. But we have it is a red flag that is being raised. We are hearing it that a number of yachts are just going straight to the Grenadines. They are bypassing Soufrière. Not for that alone, but also because of the breaking in of the yachts. I don't know, because what they are saying is that if you are leaving Martinique and you come into St. Lucia on a boat, you need 3 days in advance to prepare some immigration document online. I don't know how true that is. I'm investigating. I have not had an answer. I will be making calls to find out how it works, whether it is true or whether it's not. It could be some other island or somebody sabotaging. You don't know. You don't know. So, because that is very strange to me. Because I know, in spite of the fact that you can do it online, there is also the option when you come to do it in person.
Good night, Mr. Dalsa. As far as I'm concerned, tonight is a night of celebration. I want to personally take the opportunity to congratulate you, the SMMA, and the consultants for a job superbly done.
Thank you.
Tonight, as far as I am concerned, and I say so and I'm getting goosebumps, is a night truly to be celebrated. Because, as you earlier pointed out, the SMMA has been a world-class organization which certainly went into the doldrums. You heard nothing about SMMA. And this effort here is significant. It's a milestone. And the testament to that is, look at all the people who are here. It means that the SMMA, in my opinion, is doing something right. There's always going to be room for improvements. But I think we are truly on the right track, where the SMMA is making provisions for this kind of discourse with the public, where they are looking at the future existence by way of tithing or fees and what have you. But tonight, for me, it's a moment to pause, take stock, and celebrate. And I have no questions. Even if I had questions, I think those questions have been alleviated in the sense that we are truly, in my opinion, on the right track. And I just want to say once more, I think, in all honesty and sincerity, that the SMMA has done under your leadership. We can see a marked difference in what was there and what obtains. And more importantly, in the midst of all of the hullabaloos that you hear around the community, it is important to recognize the fact that you are fair and honest in terms of accountability. In terms of accountability, some people would seek to choose to sweep it under the rug. And what stood out is the fact that you said that, you know what, we lost X amount of money. And we know that where it came, how it got lost, was within our ranks. It takes a lot of courage, it takes strength and leadership to stand up and to admit when certain things are not right. And I thank you for that, Mr. Dalsa. And I think it augurs well for the institution as you being the head of the organization. It sets a true example for the other members of staff and other institutions likewise. So once again, I don't want to hug the mic, but I just want to tell you, you and your organization and the consultants have done a wonderful and superb job. Please keep up the good work.
Thank you, Mr. Gustav. I hardly get commendation, so I am drunk in that one. Thank you very much. I just want to say that we have a website and we have a consultant. In addition to her, we have a consultant working on the website. And that website, Parliamentary Rep, what you said, the information for the Martinicans will be there. The other initiative that we are undertaking, and there is another consultant, not paid by us this time, we are going to have an online payment system so that a yacht living Martinique wants to come to St. Lucia, they will go online and they will go to an app that will help them register. We will be able to assign them a mooring with a number on it, and then they will pay online so that the rangers do not have to go by the boat and say, you owe us so much. So they pay online. And we are getting there. There is a consultation going on right now. Right now. Last week I had a meeting to do just that. And I pray and hope before I go to the great beyond that I will see that happen. I want to see that happen, honestly. The other thing is, the little $1 is not enough. So we are looking for new ways of raising revenue. So on the website, we're going to put a bonus button. So anybody who is sympathetic towards marine conservation and protection, you can donate. And Roatan in Honduras, they're collecting millions of dollars because there are people who come based on how you manage your environment. And if they read about the SMMA and what we are doing, a multi-millionaire, one of these guys with these mega yachts, whatever you call them, will not, 100,000, 200 is not too much to give, to donate to the organization. So thanks for the recommendation. I can do it for a lot more of it. Thank you.
Yes, good night.
Well, I forgot to acknowledge the presence of the mayor. I didn't see. Where is he? Could he hear? Oh, he's still there. I didn't. Sorry, earlier I didn't see you. Yes. Next question.
Yes, good night. My name is Julian Alexis, sin and fillet owner of Barron's Drive. The SMMA is the best thing to have happened to Soufrière, but there are a few little things which needs to be addressed. Hominot area is a fishing priority area, and we have 3-4 boats anchoring in the middle of the bay. Supposing a school of fish were to come there, who is losing? The fishermen are losing. My boat went to Jalousie to fish. We set the net at Jalousie. We lost the fish. Piece of irons dug up in the sun. It damaged the net. I have to pay the expense again. So these are the things we need to try and rectify. I thank you.
Thank you. Very good concern. You see, the fishermen have legitimate reasons for fulfilling the way that they do. Because, as I said, we were at a meeting at Coolbreeze, and I spoke about that issue, Mr. Alexis. I told Jalousie was there, the manager was there, and I said to him, you went, the same way I'm saying it to you, you went and you put, how you call the thing, hammocks in the water. A hammock in the water. We asked you to remove. I wrote to them, I told them to remove them. They were going to put about 6, but they had 2 already, and they still remain. But the other 4, they didn't put them because of our intervention. And I said to the manager, and the Minister of Tourism was there, and I said to him, how can we allow you to put a hammock in the water? And when a fisherman wants to do a little something in the water, we stopping them. It cannot be fair. It cannot be fair. And we have to do, rangers, we have to do a lot more for the fishermen. They have a lot of concerns. We are too hard on them sometimes. But some of them must behave themselves. Do not go and put your net in the marine reserve. Do not go and destroy the coral that we're doing there. Do not go by our devices and shoot the juvenile fish that we have there. We have to, the fishermen, there's a lot of concern. And Alexis, what I said a while ago, we need to sit down. We need to really sit down. If it's a symposium, let us sit down and talk. One of the things I am recommending to put in those bylaws is for every dive operator to have a guide, so that the guide will tell the divers that they have on the tour, do not fish, do not interfere with the nets. And if that is in the law, then we can have some control over interference with your nets and with your pots. But it is a process. We're just starting. I'm just learning the organization. And tonight I heard a lot of genuine concerns by the fishermen. They are legitimate concerns. And we have to address them. But the way to address them is not by shouting at each other. It's by talking to each other. That's the only way.
Good night. My name is Jermaine Abraham, and you bring up a very good point, Mr. Dalso, earlier when you said that everybody, like the people that are driving the motor vessels, when they come to Soufrière with their guests, they have to pay $1 to bathe or to snorkel. I respect that. Now, I want to bring up one nice point for you now. You were talking about how SMMA don't need to come by the yachts to collect the fees. They have to pay it online. But this one, they will have a problem with that. You know why? Because SMMA will still have to come by the yacht and look at the moorings to see if they are damaged or not. Now, let me tell you again, one more important thing. Sometimes when the season is very busy, SMMA can be all the way at Marigot Bay or at Tikai doing something, and there are many yachts who have already burst buoys, and we bring them back inside, and we never ask for anything for any fee. So what can be done for that now if the people yacht get damaged by your boys?
The good question. What I can tell you is that the Marine Rangers, they go out, and every year, Butcher, don't you all service all of the moorings? Change. I got a whole set of rope for you all, shackles and chain and everything. They're doing it right now, maintaining the mooring. So we are doing that. We want to thank those of you who are helping us, because there was a particular yacht that burst the chain, and it was going to wreck in the rocks. And some fishermen in the Barron's Drive area rescued them, and we were very thankful. And all he asked us for was to give him gas. How much gas we gave him? You can remember how much? We gave him 6 gallons of gas. Because that would have cost us a lot of money if the boat not just wrecked. So whenever you all do this kind of good gestures, let us know. we will give you something. We don't have much money, but we can give you a tank of gas or something. Oh yes, what the DRB is saying, these things should be recorded so that when we have an award ceremony, we can give those persons recognition that they have done this good deed for us. That's a very good idea. We will note it. And the importance of data collection is so critical in any organization, and we're just developing databases. Any other questions? Oh, the lady in front.
I just want to ask Mr. Dalson, we know about the project GPH will implement soon. So I'm just asking in what way we think GPH implementation of that project will affect the SMMA.
That's a good question. Very good. How will the GPH affect the SMMA? They have had several consultations. Up to last week, there was a team in Soufrière, and they met me and we sit down. And what basically, I'm telling you what they said to us. They will not affect our revenue collection. They will not affect, like say, claim the moorings and begin to charge. We're going to have, they're not going to interfere with the zone areas. They're not going to interfere with it. In fact, most of the things they're going to do, they are terrestrial. They are based on land. A boardwalk on the seashore, not, except that the last discussion I had, they said that they were going to put, 3 or 4 or 5 small dinghy jetties, starting from by Aquinas, coming all the way to the big jetty. And that is to facilitate the yachts. However, the SMMA will continue to collect the yacht fees, and the SRDF will collect what they normally collect at the jetty. So it will not affect the bottom line. And that is the only thing I was told that is going to be impacted on the marine reserve. I don't know. That's what they said. That's what I'm saying to you. That is why I'm saying that when you put in moorings, it is important for us to know, because you don't know where they're going to put these small jetties, whether it is going to entangle with some bucket of concrete you have down on the seabed, or, as you said, a piece of iron that you have. We need to know these things. Simple. Just tell us. I want to install a mooring. I'm a fisherman. I live in Barons Drive. I want to put a mooring to tie my boat. I'm a water taxi. That's my survival. I want to put a little mooring. Can you help us? Show us where to put it. We sit down, we discuss, we send Butcher, we send Kajaki. They go, they take a look, they tell you, okay, put it there, it's yours. We're not going to charge you the $250. Don't get vexed for that. Simple. So they said to us that they're not going to be affecting us. Okay? Thank you.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr.
Yes,
Dalso.
thank you.
Let me just piggyback on this opportunity to introduce myself to those persons I have not met. I am Kim Roy Rennie, the inspector in charge of Soufrière Station. I want to commend you and your team for a fantastic presentation and a fantastic discourse on what you are looking to achieve in the not too distant future. And from my observation, I could see clearly that you are taking to the next level, and we welcome that. And for me, as a representative of the RSLPF, and I want to thank you on behalf of the Commissioner for inviting us here, I believe we should take it to the next level in that, as the new manager for the Soufrière Station, I believe it is important that the police build partnership and partnership with organizations like yours, in that I heard of the concerns regarding butcher security, and I even heard a gentleman speak about the rangers not being armed. And I think those are genuine concerns, and as a law enforcement officer, I understand the challenges that they would face on a daily basis. And I believe this is the point where we now have to have further discussion, further dialogue as to how we could take the enforcement aspect of the SMMA to the next level. And I want to put the people here on notice, right, that it is the intention of the Soufrière Police to join and to partner with the SMMA to ensure that there is the proper enforcement of the rules and regulations. Because sometimes you talk, and talk don't work. So sometimes you must make an example out of a few persons so that the word can go around that, hey, it is a no-nonsense approach to that, because the SMMA is protecting each and everybody's livelihood in here, including mine. Because every dollar the tax that of taxes collected goes with my salary. So anybody who jeopardizes my salary. So it is my job now to ensure that I protect my life and my livelihood by enforcing the laws of this country. So I think we need, not to do this in future, we should and begin having discussion on an MOU between our organization as to how we could engage in joint patrols. So when Mr. Butcher goes there, he has one of my guys there or two of my guys there, who will guarantee that these persons cannot make the threats that they're making and that they could feel they could get away with it. So I welcome the discussion. I look forward to that. And if Captain Lolo was there regarding the jet skis, ignorance of the law is no excuse. So whether anybody comes from Martinique or wherever they come and they believe they could violate our law, that is no excuse. You need to do your research. The law is there for every single person to read, to understand, and to now follow. So I think it is important that we now educate ourselves as to the do's and don'ts of our legislation, so that we now do not get ourselves in a situation where we will have to be arresting you and then you will be sanctioned for whatever action that you violated. Thank you very much.
ASP, I don't know how to thank you. When you were speaking, I had goose flesh. Thank you. And you don't know who he is? The son of the soil. That's Swa's son. And now he's ASP in Soufrière. So he has a vested interest. And I welcomed up because, you see, I approached the DR and I told the DR this yacht Brickens is going to kill. It had already killed the yacht in Soufrière. And the yacht boys were already facing it. So she recommended that we look for a group of young men, which we did. They were interviewed by the police, but they did not recommend them. So the situation at a standstill. Now we're in the process of finding out how best we can send security personnel underwater at night. It's not an easy task for the rangers, because they need to be armed. They need to have raincoats for different conditions of the weather. And more than that, it is going to cost the SMMA, which is a cost estimate of almost $40,000 a month, because an armed officer wants $200-300 every night. Then you have the boat captain. Because he is working out of schedule, you have to pay him double. So securing the yacht is not an easy task financially. And that is why we want every single person to help us, because you can tell us who the culprits were. Because they come home with the camera, the phone, they come home with the yacht, the deck sleepers, they come home with items from the yacht, and we know them, and some parents cover up for them, and when they get bail, he was a very nice boy. We have to protect, because the yacht boys were coming to me and saying to me that this thing is really affecting them. Because the boys, I could sit by Michael and see all of them just sailing in the horizon going down to St. Vincent. Just because a guy went in a yacht with a cutlass. But he did not know that one of the guys on the yacht was an ex-army officer, an ex-marine, and gave him some serious licks. And he told us, go and look anywhere for a guy who has a swollen face. But there are people who saw him with the swollen face and never said a word. Well, how did you get? Come in there, you go flake us. We have to be serious, because if we are not, you see this tourist season, we are not going to get yachts coming to Soufrière. Yachts people spend the most money. They spend more money than cruise ship people. They go to the restaurants, they go to the supermarket, they go by Miss Emmanuel, they shop. So if that is a sector we have to protect, is the yachting sector. Because, just a moment, the statistics will show you, on average, a yacht person spends twice as much in our country as a cruise ship person. So we have to protect the yachting sector. And all of us have to do it together. We will do our best. We are going to be, we have to put the plan. We have 13 yachts coming sometime in the next 2 weeks or so. Next week. And next week, both Cleo and myself will be out of state. So before I leave, I have to put a security system in place to protect those 13 yachts that are coming. I will not tell you where they are, where they're going to be. But they are coming. I say I'm not going to say it, you're saying it. They will be in the area. And just imagine 13 years coming there. For how many days? 2 days. The SMMA will collect at least $1,000 to $2,000. The community will benefit. The water taxes will benefit. The taxi drivers will benefit. So we have to take it, but it is coming at a cost. And you have to tell the tourism department to help us. Help us. Help us to get security personnel on ground on the waters at night, especially between midnight and 6 o'clock. That's when all of the major break-ins are taking place. The fellas, they go on the yachts. They kidnap the people, they take the items, and then they take their dinghy and go back on shore with it. And this cannot be permitted. Yes, Brother Alman. Oh, he had the mic. Okay, good.
Good night, everyone. Let me first commend Mr. Dawson and his team for the work you guys are currently doing in reviving or restructuring or rebuilding the SMMA. You made 2 points. You made a point earlier at the fishermen's meeting about operators are mandated to have. You're going to ensure that all of them have a guide. As far as I know, being in the dive industry, all dive operators must have guides under that. It's law. So there's no need to venture into that again. I mean, it happens automatically. And it helps in many ways because, for example, Adan Chasney, most of our guys are from Sufra. I mean, most of our team are from there also. Spare fishing in the reserve. We do also have permission from Fisheries Department to spare fish, lionfish in the reserve after much consultation. That was granted to us to do. So if you see us doing that, we're not doing anything illegal. We have permission to do it. Also, let me make a point on the tourism industry in Sufra. I think it's something that is not really, maybe it's underappreciated or misunderstood, the importance of the tourism industry to us, and not just say Sufra, but our country on the whole. Because if we truly understood that I think the behavior of all of us will change. And like speaking from the sea, the behaviors of our boaters, the behaviors of our fishermen. And you made a very important point that I think that we need to work hand in hand. One cannot work in isolation. The fisherman has to work with SMMA, the divers have to work with SMMA, and we all have to work together unless that is happening. And this comes through education of what's happening on the water. You pointed out about the coral bleaching. We don't even show that. We don't even highlight that for fear that highlighting it could backfire on us. Yes, the guest sees it. Yes, they comment on it. So be it. The water temperature is too high. The corals are bleaching. But again, it's something that we all, and those who are sitting here, everyone, those who are listening, everyone needs to realize the importance of the tourism industry to all of us in this small country of St. Lucia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. I told you I like to beg. Can you please tell Carmen to help me train some of my rangers? Yes, sir? Hello? You're discussing that? But you will very like that. Just give them a little training, because, the level they're at, we want them to get at another forum. But I'm putting you on the spot. I like to put you in public. Yes, Alman wants to say something quickly, and then Mr. Alexander, and then we're going to end the session.
I'm not Mr. Alman,
No. Oh, you have the mic. Okay. Mr. Alman, you have to get the mic.
Yes. Good evening, everybody. Please permit me to make a few comments before I ask a question. As the former CEO of the Sufra Foundation, board member of the SMMA, I think I appreciate well enough the struggles that organizations such as that go through in remaining alive and vital and important to the survival of any country or any community. The foundation and the SMMA have been very crucial for our survival to date. And I understand what it takes to manage organizations like that. So I want to commend you and your team for what to bring the organization to where it is today. And to tell you that I wish you all the best in moving it forward. There are three things I have noticed about Soufrière in my 50+ years on this earth. Soufrière is the most beautiful place in the world. All right? Soufrière has all the resources necessary to solve all its problems and to bring Soufrière to where to get to its full potential. We have the physical resources, we have the economic resources, and I think we have the human resources to do it. Sadly, the third thing that I've observed is that Soufrière is not where it is because of how we treat each other in Soufrière. We do not support one another in Soufrière for all kinds of cynical reasons. Politics, selfishness, and all other ulterior motives. And that has prevented Soufrière from being what it's supposed to be and the potential that it has. We have not been able to realize that. SMMA is one of the organizations that is heralded all over the world, except in Soufrière. And some of the greatest critics of SMMA are those very same persons that SMMA is seeking to secure their livelihoods. It's either because they don't understand it, so maybe that is where we're falling short, we're not letting them understand how SMMA is benefiting them. Or again, it boils down to politics, selfishness, and so on. We are quick to go and call people thieves, and this and that and the other, when we should be supporting each other. I think Soufrière, we have shown in a few occasions what we can accomplish when we come together. After Thomas, sadly, it's always after a disaster when we come together. We put politics, religion, everything aside, and we can move Soufrière to where it's supposed to be. I don't know what it will take to get us to realize our potential and to realize what we can accomplish if we come together. So I don't know. When I come to forums like that, I get a little hope. Testing 1, 2. I get a little hope because I see the discourse. I see what appears to be a genuine concern to see Soufrière move forward. I look around and I see a cross-section, like you say, of people from all different sides of the fence. But sadly, when we go back to where we're going to, we're back to tearing down each other, back to bringing down each other. And so I don't know. We are causing persons who want to help, who have the capacity to help, to stay in their little cocoons, their little corners, and be afraid to come because the first thing they do when they come is that or he wants something, or he's a thief or something once anything goes wrong. And I think we need to stop that. I think we need to stop that. Soufrière is far greater than any political party, any religion, any whatever you want to call it. And let's move Soufrière in the right direction. Now my question is to the young lady, the consultant. I know she mentioned, I want to commend you for your work that you have done. In the first project, you mentioned the cataloging and the filing of the records, both hard and soft. But I'm not sure if you mentioned, with an oversight, storage off-site. So a lot of people have storage and they so we're back to zero. So is there a component of your project that involves backing up information and having it off-site or in the cloud or somewhere where it cannot be susceptible to some kind of destruction by a natural disaster or something?
Yes, we have cloud space. So it is stored in the cloud. There is also an external hard drive, and everything is stored on there. And there is also a container somewhere with stored information.
Answers your question. Thanks for the observation, Mr. Bob. Thank you very much. The SMMA will continue to try. You know, this is society. We have to work together. We keep saying it, but the divide is always there. What we have to do is learn to thrive within the divide. Is going to what saddens me is the fact that some of the attacks are too personal and unjustified. Because I have been in the politics, my shoulder broad, but there are people within the organization whose shoulders are not as broad as I have, and they accuse them wrongly. Anything that happens there, they point at certain persons who are innocent. And it's a pleasure of some people to do it. I just wish that the Almighty will take care of these people by praising them and lifting them and giving them a new brain so they could think differently. I will take Brother Alman and Missy Pollitt as the two final questions.
Yeah, good night, everyone. From my understanding, listening here tonight, I got an awareness that the SMMA has a certain extent of responsibility for the Soufriere Bay and its surroundings. Am I correct? Yes. Yeah, you should have a mic. So maybe we would save some time. Thing is, to what extent does that go outward, like nautical miles, yards, out of the Queen's Chain or the coastline? The free documents that you showed here, is it to be made available upon request to any member of the public? The other thing is, like I said, I have an understanding of the responsibility, and the community needs to accept that the SMMA has an authority and a responsibility to the bee. And that is even encouraged by the laws enacted. But to what extent is that authority? Because, I mean, the SMMA is moving in strides, and it can only move further. To what extent is that authority in one? For example, like a fisherman mentioned, his net is being damaged. What authority will the SMMA have to assist in some form of enforcement for compensation in a situation like this? Also, you find that what is, as the police officer said, is gonna hold hands with the SMMA. What is the established relationship with the patrolman of the SMMA with the Coast Guard? And I heard you said a policeman will want $300, $250. If the police is to protect law and order and protect the well-being of the country, why should it be moonlighting or private job for a policeman to go on patrol? Then you also go into the jet ski. As a tourism base, jet ski is a very vital, economically vital, important aspect of tourism. Why should we look at banning jet ski, whereas the young men from Barron's Drive and Soufriere could make money out of jet ski tours and rentals and so forth? With the authority that the SMMA is getting, can in that legislation enact some kind of pathway, roads and conditions to accommodate jet skis in the Soufriere region? Yes, we are aware of diving areas and so on and so forth, but a network can be built. Because if you drive from Castries and you look at Soufriere on a bright day, you see that shining silver, flat blue. Now a jet ski moves from Mexico to the USA. So why can't a jet ski be allowed to recreate like 200 yards out of the shoreline and so on and so forth, but incorporate it in the tourist sector to bring in more revenue, and then the SMMA can make some more money out of that. So to just ban a modern thing like jet ski in terms of what potential it has for revenue. I don't think we should just cast away the use of jet ski and say we cannot have it in Soufrière. If the SMA may have what the means to put legislation in place to control that with the assistance of the police and the Coast Guard. So if we don't, then can that be looked at? The other thing is, I was at a meeting some time ago concerning the development of the waterfront. And I did ask the question, how will this development affect the marine environment as far as maybe contamination with the development is concerned? And then I also heard of the amount of monies that has to be invested in this front line there. And tonight I'm hearing a little different in that it might just be some quiz, some little wooden things for yachts to park. But that is not the impression I got from the last meeting. So what authority, and then I heard you say that you don't know the plans. So if the SMMA could have authority over the locals, to know what is happening, to know when they want to put an anchor for their boat and more, and so on, why can't the SMMA have the authority to see the plans and know the exact plans to tell us what is actually going to happen there in terms of, and the interest protecting the environment, in that if any cement has to be, if anything has to be dug, that it will not affect the coral reef and the coral plants that have been planted during that time. And what I also want to wrap up with is that with all of this, may have lost my thought a bit. The moorings. If you're gonna be charging a fee for the boats for the moorings, what if a local happens to own a vessel, sizable vessel? Will there be consideration, as he's a local and he lives in the place, he's domestic, will there be consideration as to how much he's charged versus a foreign vessel?
Sure.
Okay, you talk about the SMMA and the Marine Police. We have in our good rapport, Soufrière Marine Management and the Soufrière Police. We have been doing patrols. If we have a problem, we call the Marine Police. They're going to be coming down right away. The other one you talk about, if the fishermen net get damaged, Sandals have been charged $5,000 for making the fishermen lose their catch. We talk about the boundaries. The normal boundaries is 12 nautical miles, and the outward boundary for the SMMA is 75 meters bottom contour. You could multiply that by 3 and find out what it is. Thank you.
So here is our chief ranger answering your question. The extent of the demarcation, you heard him. The demarcation, they use the contour lines. And this is the 75th contour line. Now, a while ago, we had a meeting to digitize the demarcation, to put it on Google Earth, so that our rangers with their device, GPS device, can say exactly where you are at what time and who was there. And what I propose is that instead of using the contour lines, because the contour lines is based on the slope, and you know what a Soufrière Bay is like. As soon as you step up, you're already at the bottom, 60 meters. So if it is 70 meters away from the contour line, in some places like by Ratchet Point, as soon as you step out, you're already outside of the reserve. So what we are asking them to do at the meeting today, instead of doing contour lines, do it distance from the breaking of the waves. So if we go in 100, 200 feet, so everywhere from the breaking of the waves, that is what we recommended. Let me answer all your questions. You asked a question about the documents. All our documents will be on our website. In fact, if you go there right now, you will see some of the documents on the website, all of them. You ask about the private, something about private and the, no, the second question you asked. The jet skis. The jet skis, I don't have to respond to that. Again, I've already answered it. It is ISPS. Case closed. ISPS is an international protocol for ports of entry and ports of call. If you go to Yemen, you go to the United States, you go to Jamaica, it's the same international. There is a protocol, you sign on to it, and you say that these activities will not be conducted in a port of entry. The Soufrière Bay starts from, I believe, from Ratchet Point. That's a port of entry. If you go outside of that, you can do your jet ski. But in the port of Soufrière, you cannot do it. No. International law. With respect to the Marine Police, we work with them. You cannot take a police officer from his station and send him underwater. Marine policing is different from terrestrial policing. It's a different ball game. It's a different set of skills. It's a different experience. Can the police officer swim? So you cannot take a police officer from the police station and tell him to go underwater. And that is the explanation. But we want to work with the police, and they have been very helpful. Yeah, we dialogue with them. We have to pay an armed officer. I told you how much to go underwater. We're trying our best to. I didn't recognize you, the one that's what's the name again? The Immigration Customs. Stasper. I didn't recognize you, so sorry. Yeah, what happened to you? Get younger tonight, man. Good. Then you asked about the jet ski. I told you it's ISPS. The development. What the question you asked about whether they're going to pollute, that's a matter for planning to discuss. Because they have to go through planning. And I didn't say I've not seen the plan. I have seen the plan. There have been several meetings. You were at one, I was at one. No, I have seen the plans here. SMMA. I know the plans, I have seen the plans, I have approved the plans. It's not going to affect the SMMA in any way critically negative to us. And therefore, I am in for development. The world doesn't say the same. Things change. We have to progress. We cannot stay and belabor the past. We have to move on and let us see what is really going to happen. I believe everybody has a vested interest in Soufrière. And if something is going to happen in Soufrière for the betterment of Soufrière, for the enhancement of the tourism product we boast about, let us do it. You asked about the local for the moorings, and my answer to you is we can discuss. Yes, we do it, yes. For locals. At the dock. So we have that. We have accommodation for locals, yes. It's a good thing you ask the question so that people can know. Because the SMMA is not a papi show organization. John.
The work that they're doing, because they're actually doing part of my work of the Peter management area, because we have a policy area 5 which falls within the marine area. So thank you, Mr. Dalsa, and all your team. You're helping with my work, making my work much easier. I am very pleased with the consultant. That's my past student. I have to big up Windia, and I want to give a round of applause for the work that he has done. I'm very proud of that. Putting things in order, which makes your work a lot easier when you have things filed away properly and you want to get a document. It's very easy to get. So, Mr. Dalsa, one thing I want to remind you, and I'll keep reminding you about it, is the water quality. Yes, we have somebody doing the water quality testing. That's my niece. But I think it is basically to say to visitors and super people, try not to bathe in the sea after heavy rains. Because I bathe in the sea very often. My grandchildren come down and that's where they go all the time with papa. Nothing on their skin. We need to do research, maybe at the hospital, to find out persons who come with an eye problem or air problem. Did you bathe in the super sea, and when and what? Is it after heavy rain or what? Because I mean, we cannot sell Soufrière as a place with poor water quality. It can be poor. Yes, we know there's a lot of affluent coming down, but bathe at your own risk, yes. But we cannot sell Soufre as a place where the water is highly polluted. I don't know what the measures are, but I can tell Barons Drive children should be dead by now. Or Forbanier children should be dead by now. Or maybe we need to do a research at the school to find out how many students come with problems after bathing. And finally, with the yachting sector, I have done my research as well. When they've been talking about a yacht was broken into and so on and so forth, we don't know that it's Soufre people. It may be Soufre people. But when I checked for places like Barbados, the last time it was registered that the yacht was broken into was 2016, and that can never be true. They do not record all their information, and sometimes it is sabotage. St. Lucia is getting this award, tourism, best romantic, best wedding, best this, best that. You will get fried down by other countries. So we need to continue to promote our country, and Soufre, PMA, SMMA, and SRDF really need to come together, because many people don't understand that SRDF is actually managing what PMA should be managing. So again, they're making my work very easy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Judge, for your contribution. But this yachting thing is very serious, very, very, very important. We really need to do something about it, and we have to work together to ensure you and us, we have the same vision for the community. You're protecting the terrestrial, we're protecting the marine. Very, very, very important. So I want to bring it to an end. I will give Mr. Alexander just now the mic to bring it to an end. But I just want to thank you personally one more time. Cleo will do a better job than I did, than I'm doing. So thank you immensely for being here tonight. Through the consultant again, we are going to give you a little token. This is the work of the consultant. As you can see my shirt, Vonette was the one who did that. Vonette, not you. Vonette was you see SMMA, we're carrying out with pride and dignity. We're carrying it. So as part of our promotion, we are giving you a few little tokens so that you carry it and wear it with pride to know that the SMMA is alive. That is all part of the promotion, marketing, advocacy package. Thank you very much, and I'll pass you on to Mr. Alexander. That's the last time you heard me. We will see you again.
Mr. Dalso, I note that in response to the question about the jet skis, you've repeated that Soufre, it's ISPS. I'm familiar with ISPS. And when I left the Soufre Foundation, I know the Soufre Port Soufre was not ISPS compliant. I introduced the gates on the jetties in Soufre. One of the reasons Soufre is not ISPS compliant is because there's no sterile area. Somebody can just swim easily to the boats, and because of that, that's one of many reasons why Soufre was not SPS compliant. In researching a proposal I wrote on behalf of the district rep with regard to the Soufre port, I recognize there was a lot more work to be done. In addition to that, I did a lot of research in preparing the proposal. I submitted a proposal to the SMMA several years ago to Mr. Felix, and he supported the idea of providing a corridor and a designated area for jet skis. I spoke to Cuthbert, DDA, the consultant, and he agreed. He asked me to speak to the director of maritime, and I did speak. I tried endlessly, tirelessly to reach Alexander to no avail. I spoke to the district rep. I told her about how the world was changing and how the industry was evolving, and that there are opportunities for Soufre to be able to create that kind of niche market in St. Lucia, because not every community has access to a marine space like Soufre. So Soufre is blessed not just with terrestrial resources, but also marine resources. But our marine resources are under-monetized. We need to, the district rep, and the players need to seriously look at how a corridor can be created from every one of the beaches, and a designated area placed outside where there's 500, 600 feet that allows unimpeded use of the marine space by the jet skis and the other boaters that use it. Presently, a speedboat is significantly more dangerous than a jet ski, but the boats have unregulated access to the port. They are significantly more of a threat. So policy can be revised, because only a policy is not legislated. I can tell you this too. So it can be revised. So the DR, I'm making an appeal to you. we can raise the GDP in Soufriere by probably another 3 to 4% if we create opportunities for investment by the young people in that marine space. So the idea of jet skis should not be, you should not be indifferent to the idea of considering how we can have jet skis operate from Soufriere, but do so in a safe and controlled manner. That is what we should be looking at, the safety. And I know the safety aspect of it has always been paramount in the minds of the players when it was first, the architects, when it was first designed. So we need to look at that. But it can be integrated because it's been done all around the world. Countries where the jet skis were disallowed in ports, they have opened up that marine space, but they've done it in a controlled manner. Something for the two of you to think about.
What I can tell you is that if we are clapping for 12 deaths. 12 deaths already caused by jet skis in St. Lucia over the years. 12 deaths. So this is not within the jurisdiction of the SMMA. That's purely a matter for SLASPA. It's for SLASPA. And so I don't want to belabor that point. I've said so. We don't have no jurisdiction. But we know the turbulence, the speed at which it moves, the congestion in the waters of Soufriere, and it's better to protect a life than to be overly ambitious and encourage an activity that is highly associated with risks. Thank you very much. So I'm going to ask the vote of thanks, Miss.
Okay, I'll now call on Miss Nicholas to do the vote of thanks on behalf of her organization.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the management and staff of the SMMA, I deem it a great honor and privilege to extend a vote of thanks on this occasion. Let me first of all start by giving glory to the Almighty for making today's occasion a resounding success. Gratitude can transform days into thanksgiving, turn routine jobs into joy, and change ordinary opportunities into blessing. I must mention our deepest sense of appreciation to our chairman, Mr. Harold Dalser, who upon his installment as chairman in 2021, recognizing the weaknesses in the policies of the association and made a concerted effort to work towards strengthening the association. It is your vision and leadership that created a rebranding and facelift of the association. Our district rep, the Honorable Emma Hippolyte, who, when called upon, immediately assisted in the process of making the necessary legal adjustments to rectify some of the loopholes that existed in the structure of the organization. To you, ma'am, I say a heartfelt thank you. We are immensely thankful to our grand donors, Jeff and GIZ. Thank you for your support. Your monetary contribution has provided so much value to the association, by extension, the communities we serve. It may sound cliche to say, however, that without your continuous generous support, some of the goals that have been achieved would not have been possible. I feel proud and honored to spell out words of thanks and share my gratitude to the staff of the association. With our limited resources, we try to give our best daily. Our chief ranger, Mr. Butcher, I don't think he gets recognized enough. I don't think he gets appreciation enough. And tonight, I just want to say thank you for all your hard work. Mr. Butcher has been with us 25 years plus. And 25 years plus, so he's correcting me, he's saying 28. And he's given his heart and soul into that organization. As of late, I'm seeing he's a little, yes. But with Mr. Dowser on our team, I believe a lot is being done, and Mr. Butcher will get the recognition that he deserves sometime later down. And to all our most valued guests for being part of this event. Thank you for sharing your invaluable time to be here with us today. Thank you for your contribution, and we sincerely hope that you will continue to contribute and have a great rapport with the association. Please feel free to walk into our office on Bay Street if you have any questions, queries, or suggestions. Again, it is a really great pleasure to have you here tonight. An event like that cannot happen overnight. The wheels started rolling weeks ago, maybe months ago. It requires planning and a bird-eye view for detail. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by a dedicated team under consultant Ms. Jonai. Ms. Jonai was responsible for all the logistics as well as the planning of this event. We sincerely thank her for her efforts and dedication. To Mr. Ricky James, we express gratitude for the rental of your facility and for the catering. Lastly, to all the people who I may not have singled out, who play a part in whatever way with deep reverence and gratitude, I say thank you. And I just want to point out that we were not able to get all our paraphernalia. So whoever does not get a T-shirt, later down, you could always drop by, not tomorrow, not next week, but you could always drop by. We remember your face and say, I come for my T-shirt, okay? So thank you all.
Nicholas? Okay, guys, so we have some refreshments at the back. So if you can line up. Is there somebody to serve them? Oh, Vernette will serve you, or she'll assist you. So you can feel free to line up and enjoy the wonderful hors d'oeuvres that the SMMA is offering to you.